And everyone, it's so nice to be here. You're such a warm and welcoming community, so I'm really happy to be here. We have spent almost 2 days together, and we have had excellent presentations about cross-Atlantic collaborations. A lot of the speakers have mentioned education and higher education and research. And we want to use this session, which is actually the last session of the summit. And we want to put focus on academia and higher education. And we have a great panel who will share and inspire from 2 existing research student exchange programs in collaboration with industry. And the students that we educate today are the enablers of tomorrow. So let's all help together to include an international component. So please, panel, come and join me. So I'm not going to do the mistake of the main moderator and try to pronounce names. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and use 2 sentences each, please.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be here. That är bra att vara här, that är gott att vara här. I'm Joseph Iannelli, and I serve at Washington State University as the Education and Research Liaison to European universities, particularly Nordic University.
My name is Marcus Rönngren Leo. I represent something called Sweden-U.S. Green Transition Initiative. It's created by the innovation agency, Vinnova, the Swedish Energy Agency, Business Sweden, and our embassy in Washington, D.C., focusing on creating collaborations between Sweden and U.S. within sustainability.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. My name is Wallin, and I represent Linköping University. I'm the director of Future Precision Health to promote transatlantic collaborations in precision health, and I'm also senior advisor for the university.
Well, thank you. So as I said, the panel is going to present 2 existing exchange programs, and I'm going to start to ask Åsa and Marcus to give a short introduction on each program. Marcus, maybe you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, yeah, we have a collaboration where we're trying to set up a model to see if we can get Swedish industries to tap into the U.S. talent pool. If this model is scalable, we would like to, of course, have it in more places around the country and inviting more industries. But first out, we're in collaboration with Northvolt, that we heard from earlier today, the Swedish battery manufacturer, and also one of the largest in Europe. Together with them, we're trying to build a collaboration, a process where they tap into the talent pools of UC Berkeley. Now, what's good with Northvolt is that they have presence both in Sweden and in California. We heard from their subsidiary Q-Berg, which is focusing on innovation within batteries. This makes it possible for University of Lund to actually send students to Q-Berg and Northvolt, and also receive students from UC Berkeley to Northvolt in Sweden. So that's the program in short.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Marcus. Åsa, do you want to give the same introduction to the other program?
Absolutely. I'm very glad to be here today, and also to have my fellow here from WSU, Professor Joseph Iannelli, who's actually the initiator and also one of the strongest promoters of this collaboration. So basically, it's a very unique program where we have 2 universities on each side of the Atlantic, Linköping University and Washington State University. We have both universities with different faculties, everything from the board perspective of science and the humanities, for example, and also engineering. We also have several different campuses spread all over the States and Sweden. And we also, of course, share cultural values. Based on this, we started a research collaboration focusing on computation and mathematics, science, and engineering. And on top of that, we put the extra layer of student exchange. And the students work together for an academic year. We have students, we started in fall 23 with 8 students coming from Washington State and visiting Linköping for 6 months. And this spring we had students from Linköping visiting the Pullman campus here. This is a 3-year, and also I would say, the important part, of course, involved in this is not only 2 universities, and this makes it very unique. We also have the long-term strategic partners for each university, Boeing for WSU and Saab for Linköping University. And the students are working on real-life challenges with designing computational models for the trainer aircraft that the companies are working together on. This is a 3-year program and is funded, financially supported by the Swedish Foundation STINT, the National Science Foundation, and the European Erasmus Plus program.
Thank you. So Josef, can you please give us your perspective? Can you pinpoint the main driving forces and the overall value of this program?
Yes, indeed. Well, the partnerships between Washington State University and several Nordic universities educate the innovators that will support all the innovations that have been presented at this summit so far. So really the main driving force is to deepen the relations between Washington, the state of Washington, the students from Washington, and those from the Nordic countries based on shared values such as resilience, sustainability, equality, innovativeness, just to support the cultural and trade ties that exist between the state of Washington and Denmark and Norway and Sweden. The program that Åsa mentioned quite beautifully has an acronym. It's called the STARS program. STARS stands for Students, Training, and Research Semesters. And the innovative idea is that when the Washington students are in Sweden, Linköping University, they are introduced with an equal number of Swedish students. They collaborate together when they work on these research projects that are sponsored by the supporting companies, Boeing and Saab. And then, and it is quite beautiful, and then what happens is that these Swedish students follow the Washington students to Washington State University, and they continue to collaborate together. So in other words, we have integrated cohorts of Washington students and Swedish students. They work together for one entire academic year. 1 semester in Sweden, 1 semester at WSU. And in addition, of course, to working on projects, they develop friendships. They understand perhaps a little better their own cultures. And so in addition to possessing the technical skills that are needed for all the innovations that have been presented, they also have the understanding of the different cultures. And these are precisely the innovators that can continue to power all these wonderful innovations. So the overall value of the program is value really for students and universities and multinational companies and countries as well, according to 3 specific strategic goals. 1, to educate internationally minded, diverse students for leadership in multicultural, globalized societies. To advance knowledge collaboratively, more effectively than is allowed by the resources of any single institution. And then to secure funding to support both students and faculty members. And the concept of STARS has attracted attention from other Nordic universities as well. And of course, that's very exciting because we have a similar STARS program that is beginning this fall with Aarhus University in Denmark. And I'm grateful for the support provided by the Scan Design Foundation for this particular program. And 3 weeks ago, I received a very interesting communication from Gothenburg University. So the idea of STARS is spreading, as it should. And last but not least, because WSU is a university system that has campuses all over the state, we have students from all the campuses, from throughout the state of Washington, that participate in this program. So go Cougs!
Thank you very much, Joseph, and I'll make sure we have some time at the end for questions. So Marcus, you represent the other program. So what would you say is the main driving forces and overall value from that one?
Yeah, I mean, you could ask, like, why wouldn't this happen organically? You have one of the greatest, right now, one of the most hyped companies in Sweden, and you have a great university that is ranked as one of the best public universities in the world. Wouldn't they just find each other otherwise? The reason why Norfolk reached out was that they've had, from all of the 45,000 students studying at UC Berkeley, there's been one that applied for a summer internship at Norfolk. And unfortunately, it was 5 weeks delayed due to administration and red tape. So they reached out and asked if there's something we can do, if there's a process that we can tap into. So there is a process between universities themselves. If universities have, you know this much better than me, but if you have students, and of course in the US and Europe, especially in Sweden, there's different pricing models and costs for education. But if you have one student from the US and one student from Sweden, they'll take out each other. So the cost becomes zero. And also, if you have students going through the universities, you have a legit visa for summer education, and you also have insurance, student insurance, which speeds up the process. And then, of course, if you combine that with an industrial partner, that's a win-win for everyone. So that's the background a little bit why the program, why we initiated the program. And of course, north of Sweden, we've heard about the green transition and how its industry is changing and how they're a driving force. But at the same time, it lives, 520,000 people up there. And we have all the heavy industry, iron, steel production, and mining, and batteries, among others. So of course, there's a big need for talents and people as well. But tapping into one of the world's best public universities, and if we can have that model working, we can of course scale it, and then Washington's next.
Nice. So one of the aspects that I really enjoyed throughout the days here has been a lot of focus on industry, academia, public collaboration. We heard Karin from Stockholm talk about Triple Helix before. Vinnova, where I work, we were funded based on that idea. But it's almost like a truism. And Åsa, you have been working for a very long time with international collaboration for a Swedish university. I would like to hear you elaborate a little bit about these ideas, including the importance of an international component to this. Congratulations, it's a difficult question, but I trust in you.
Thank you very much for that trust, and I tried to do my best here. So, fundamentally, collaboration is everything is all about the quality of research and education, all that we do. And to be honest, my university, Linköping University, we are celebrating 50 years next year. So we are a very young university. And one of the reasons that we actually started in the 70s was because of the Saab. They needed more engineers. So from start, we have had it very close to heart that collaboration with industry is important for us, and that is also one of the driving forces for the university actually being a university. But today, we need to also remember that everything has a very high pace of things. Everything is very speedy today. And education also kind of shifted, you know, over the years. I see I have my sons, they are in their 20s now, and how they learn is so much different compared when I was in their age. And for example, they are on digital medias, they learn not only from school, but also from YouTube or something else. So one of the main things that we need to have is to educate well, and we need not only to think about the hard skills, but also the soft skills that you prepare for lifelong learning. And one of those things is that when being out, perhaps as an engineer, you must be able to work in collaborative settings. And that is not only collaborating within Sweden as a very small country. You need to be able to adapt to different situations, and also not only from a technical perspective, but as well culturally. So that is why international skills are very important, and also cross-cultural skills. So one of the things I would really highlight, and it is a little tricky question, and I can tell so much more about this, but I really would like to emphasize on the soft skills and having those cultural experience as well.
Well, thank you very much, Åsa. So Joseph, you are also very experienced, and you have been working with international collaboration for years with many different actors. I would like to ask you, from your and your university's perspective, why is it important to work with the Nordic countries?
Thank you. Well, I have an analogy, and that is with friendships. Friendships, like collaborations, prosper when they are based on shared values. And the values shared between the state of Washington, Washington State University, and the Nordic countries, they are significant. Now, when we talk about shared values, what comes to mind is democracy, social justice, peace, friendship, equality, gender equality, sustainability, innovations, you name them. So, because these values are rare, and they are constantly threatened by others that don't believe in these values, it is all the more important to strengthen relationships with those friends and countries that do share those values. And that's perhaps one of the most compelling reasons to continue collaborating with the Nordic countries, apart from the fact that it is enjoyable and it is fun. I've had the good fortune of visiting all the Nordic countries, with the exception of the Faroe Islands, but I'm going to remedy that soon. And I've always felt at home, so surrounded by people that are friends and welcoming. And furthermore, from a more trade point of view, cultivating these partnerships also contribute to expand the cultural and trade ties that exist between the state of Washington and the Nordic countries, and Norway, and Sweden, and Denmark. Suffice it to say that 11% of jobs in the state of Washington that are supported by foreign development investment are from the Nordic countries. And this is remarkable considering the relatively small size of the Nordic countries. I mean, Denmark has got approximately 6 million people, Norway approximately the same, Sweden 10 million people. They have very strong and growing economies. And for that to happen, they too seek collaborations with like-minded countries, with like-minded states. And so this is a different kind of symbiosis. The need for the Nordic countries to sustain their economies through partnerships with other countries and states, like the state of Washington. And there are so many companies from the Nordic countries in the state of Washington that are engaged in the industries of agriculture and energy, environmental sustainability and materials. 2,700 jobs in the state are supported by Denmark's investments. It's also remarkable to consider that Denmark contributes foreign direct investment, which is the 7th in the world in the United States. Well, in the state of Washington, actually. 5,000 jobs in the state of Washington are supported by Norway. 8,000 jobs from Sweden in the state of Washington to 38 companies like ABB and Ericsson and Skanska. So it is mutually beneficial to continue to collaborate with the Nordic countries. And so that's one of the reasons why states collaborate. Companies collaborate for exactly the same reason. They drive innovation. So by the same token, universities collaborate to support the collaborations among countries and the collaborations among companies. Linköping University in Sweden is quite remarkable for its own innovation programs. Just recently, they discovered a new way of making more efficient batteries, combining zinc and lignite. That's quite remarkable.
Joseph, you are an amazing ambassador for the Nordics. Grab Joseph when we hopefully get a beer afterwards, because we need to a little bit round up now.
All right.
I think you have so much more to talk about in this. And you know, when you have fun, time just flies. And I have 2 more questions that I want to add here. And first, it's to you, Marcus, because you're part of the Green Transition Initiative, and there's a lot of collaboration with industry with that one. So I was so happy when you came and said, we're going to do something with academia, because I think it's so important that academia has a role in this. So very short, can you zoom out a little bit and say something about why you think it's important to have a collaboration between the Nordics and the US West Coast?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the main reason, the market itself. It's a huge market, both California and Washington State. I mean, the entire West Coast. It's huge. But tapping into the market is one thing. Mentality and different cultures. The US offers great when it comes to speed and scale, something that Sweden definitely wants to learn from the US, especially on the West Coast. Something that Sweden could offer, or the Nordics could offer back, is of course sustainability. We've heard great examples of that all day, on collaboration, on the innovative solutions that are coming from all of the Nordics. And then also, I think, what you've been talking about, the friendship and how it's going back and forth. A lot of the great companies in the Nordics, especially in Sweden, are founded and built with domestic talent. So if we could tap into that international talent and get some influence and new thinking into our system, who knows what could happen with the Swedish ecosystem or the Nordic ecosystem for that reason.
Okay, thank you. So Åsa, I'm going to give you the last question. If you look around here, you have an amazing group of people here today, and they are all very passionate about collaboration between the West Coast and the Nordics. And you have presented a model for collaboration that is up and running. So what are your recommendations for everyone here who would be interested in establishing something similar?
Well, my first thing is that if you're interested in this, there are models, as you just heard. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We could actually help with that, and also kind of sharing experience of this. So please come to talk to me, Joseph, or Marcus afterwards. The other thing I really would like to emphasize is also that we actually have, I'm based here in US. I've been here for almost 2 years. Since just before the pandemics, we became, as the first university from Sweden, a community member of Nordic Innovation House down in Silicon Valley. But we really think of the Nordic Innovation House as a base to work from the whole west part of US. And that is extremely important for us, because then we have some kind of, how to say this, a fundament to kind of act from. And I see that not only is it like we think of Silicon Valley, but we really think we would like to connect this part, and of course, Washington State, not because of the existing collaboration we have, but also future. So that is something also I really think is important, to have something to kind of connect really tight to.
Thank you, Åsa. And this very well-organized summit tells me time is up. So the questions you will have to take with them over the drink. So, Petra is doing something. Well, we can have a question. Thank you for the extra time, Petra.
And I don't know if it is a question or not, but my name is Lars Johnson, and I was the predecessor to Petra here as the Swedish consul. But I lived in Linköping for a year and a half, and I am very, very involved with the university because I built and still own the campus housing on the university, the Colonia. And I did that with advice or discussions with the president of the university at the time, and the governor we had in Linköping, to see what can we do to make Linköping grow as a city. And we came to the conclusion it was to really focus on the university as the source for getting good industries in there, where the students wanted to stay. So therefore we wanted to really make them like to live in Linköping. So that's what we said, well, we need to get an American-style campus, because in Sweden you don't really live on campus as you do in the universities here in the U.S. So I said, let's take a model here and create a model in Linköping. So we worked together with University of Washington and created Colonia with a lot of programs to integrate the students with the campus where they live and the university as such. And I think it has been a success. But I also funded a program in Linköping to cooperate between the University of Washington and Linköping. And Lotta Gavel-Adams, I see you down there. You were sort of helping me to get that off the ground. Unfortunately, it didn't develop the way I had hoped it would. And I think we used up the money. But there is a foundation really between Seattle and Linköping to sort of have a cooperation between the universities. And Lotta, I don't know how many students we got over to Linköping from UW based on this program, but it was, when it operated, quite a good program, but we should make sure we can continue it. So, and also I don't know you from Linköping, but I'm coming there frequently, so it would really be good to get together and see how we can do this further, because I think that the model for students living and working on campus with the university is sort of, the US model is really something that could be helpful also in Sweden. So there is no doubt that there is a good chance for a lot of cooperation on the academic side moving forward. So I just want to let you know that there is a foundation. And Bertil Andersson, and then later Mille Milnert as the presidents of the university, they have been here many, many times to sort of look at the possibility for this cooperation. But Bertil left for first France and the European scientific programs they have, and then to Singapore So, but I have reconnected with him here in the last year, and to see if we can sort of build on that international or Washington State cooperation and the University of Linköping. So, are you staying in town for a while?
Okay, I would love to talk more. I can see on the screen kind of beer time, so, but let's talk more about afterwards. I would be happy to.
Thank you, Lars.
Over a beer.
Over beer.
Thank you so much, Lars, for closing the circle, but also showing us the direction for the future. So thank you so much, and thank you, panel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.